Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nigro with a Physics Fundamentals screencast. This screencast is looking again at projectile motion, specifically at projectiles that are launched at an angle. All right, again, remember projectile motion is that motion where we have two-dimensional motion occurring, where we have vertical and horizontal motion occurring simultaneously. And remember, from our earlier videos, we talked about how that motion has to be separated in terms of horizontal and vertical components for our calculations. All right. Now, a projectile launched at an angle problem is similar to some of the other ones we've done. All right. We've got two friends and they're tossing a ball back and forth between each other. And that ball goes up and then it comes back down. All right. These problems have variables that we're familiar with. The distance between the two friends is our horizontal change in position. All right. The maximum height that that object reaches is our change in vertical position. All right. We also know some information about this max height. So that max height, our final velocity value will be 0 there, and that is in the y direction, right? Because we know that our horizontal velocity is constant in these types of problems, right? We can also look at the beginning of this motion and blow it up a little bit, and what we have is some sort of resultant velocity that the ball is actually traveling, but that can be split into our horizontal component and our vertical component, and it's always got some angle, theta. All right, we could do the same thing on the other side where the ball is coming back down. All right, again, we'll have some resultant velocity, and that can be split into its two components, the vertical velocity and the horizontal. Okay, now one thing to keep in mind, all right, there is vertical, whoops, and horizontal motion throughout. All right, so unlike our horizontal launch problems where there's no vertical motion initially, here we have both. All right, and as we saw before, that horizontal motion is constant. All right, so that velocity value is a constant. So that means no acceleration. All right, whereas the vertical motion slash velocity is changing. All right, and this is basically free fall. All right, so when we're looking at our vertical motion in particular, we got to be very careful about where we are in that motion and what time values we need to use. And we'll talk about that a little bit in a second. All right, so let's look at our first problem. Robbie throws a baseball from the outfield to Ben, who's standing on second base, 45 meters away. The ball is in the air for 4.5 seconds. All right, so as we saw on some of the other videos that we have done, I like to do these with a little organizer. All right. Now this time though, I had this from my last video, I can't make this assumption that the initial vertical velocity is 0 because it isn't. All right, so let's see what we know. Ben is standing 45 meters away, so that's going to be my change in position horizontally, and the ball is in the air for a total of 4.5 seconds, so that's total. All right, so if we think about it, the ball is going to start with Robbie, it's going to go up into the air, and then it's going to get caught by Ben. All right, for this particular problem, they're 45 meters apart, and the ball is in the air for 4.5 seconds. Okay, what is the ball's horizontal velocity? All right, so if we look, we know its change in position and its time, so I can find that horizontal velocity is going to be equal to the change of position divided by time. So 45 meters divided by 4.5 seconds means that we have a vertical, velocity of 10 meters. Horizontal velocity of 10 meters per second. All right. Next, what is the maximum height that the ball reaches? All right, so we're going to be looking for the change in vertical position. And if we're at max height, then we know that the velocity, the final velocity there is 0. All right, so for this particular example, that final velocity will be 0. Now the time, this is where you have to be careful. The ball is in the air for a total of 4.5 seconds. So if this is our maximum height, then that means that the ball has been in the air here for 2.25 seconds. So we need to make sure we use the 2.25 seconds. That's our maximum height time. All right, so we're going to use a change in position. All right. I could use my change in position equals v initial times time plus 1/2 at squared. But if I do that, then I think I'm going to think about the ball as it's coming back down, because as it's coming down, that actually lets my initial velocity be 0, which is a little handier for this particular formula, because that means I can get rid of that first piece. Right, so the v initial times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared. If the ball's coming back down, v initial 0, so that part of the formula goes away. And I'm left with the change in position equal to 1/2 -10 meters per second squared times 2.25 seconds squared. All right, so I'm going to plug all that into my calculator, and I'm going to find that the ball reaches a maximum height of 25.3 meters. So that's going to be my vertical change in position, 25.3 meters. Okay. All right, now it wants to know what was the initial vertical velocity of the ball. Okay, so I'm going to change that out because we're not thinking about it that way anymore. All right, I am going to look at it as it reaches maximum height. All right, the reason I choose that is because then I could say that final velocity is 0. All right, and I have a formula, v final equals v initial, v initial plus acceleration times time. So if I know the final velocity is 0, v initial plus -10 meters per second squared. Now here's where we have to be careful. If we're going to say that that final velocity equals 0, then we're at that maximum height. So that means that we need to use our half time, or 2.25 seconds. This is where you have to be careful because it's easy to use the wrong time here. All right, so our initial velocity is going to be 22.5 meters per second vertically. All right, so this is going to be 22.5 meters per second. Okay, and then last, it wants to know what is the magnitude and direction of the ball just before Ben catches it. All right, so if we think about this in terms of motion, the ball's coming down. Right, it's going to have some resultant velocity, which we can calculate if we know what the horizontal and vertical components of that velocity are. And then we can use those also to find our angle theta. All right, so let's think about what we know. We know that our horizontal velocity is 10 meters per second because that's constant throughout the motion. Now, the final velocity vertically as it's coming down is going to be equal to the initial velocity at the beginning of the problem. All right, so we found in part C that that initial velocity was 22.5 meters per second. If it's coming down, then it's going to be negative 22.5 meters per second. This is where understanding free fall is very, very important. All right, with that in mind, we can solve for our resultant. It's going to be the horizontal velocity squared plus the vertical velocity squared. All right, so we have a horizontal velocity of 10 meters per second squared plus a vertical velocity of negative 22.5 meters per second squared. Plug that into our calculator, and we get a resultant velocity value with a magnitude of 24.6 meters per second. But we're not finished because we need that angle theta. All right, so theta is going to be our inverse tangent of our vertical divided by our horizontal. All right, so we plug that in, tangent, and we have negative 22.5 meters per second divided by 10 meters per second. We take the inverse tangent of that, and we have an angle of negative 66 degrees. All right, so our resultant velocity just before Ben catches it has a magnitude of 24.6 meters per second and a direction of 66 degrees south of east. All right. All right, so that's one example. Let's try another one just so we can make sure we all have it down. All right, so later in the game, Robbie throws a baseball with a velocity of 25 meters per second at 40 degrees above the horizontal. Ben catches the ball at the same height as Robbie's throw. All right, so let's set up our table. Oops, there we go. All right, so what do we know? All right, well, we know acceleration values. Horizontal is constant and vertical is changing at negative 10 meters per second squared. All right, we also know our resultant is 25 meters per second at 40 degrees north of east. All right, and that's about it. That's all we know. Okay, so let's see what the first problem was. Oh, okay. So what are our components? All right, so we're going to find our horizontal component by multiplying our resultant times the cosine of theta. And then we're going to find our vertical component by multiplying the resultant times the sine of theta. All right, so let's start with horizontal. So we've got 25 meters per second times the cosine of 40 degrees. All right, so we plug that value into our calculator and we find that the horizontal velocity is 19.2 meters per second. All right, so that's going to go right here, 19.2. All right, we'll repeat using sine instead. So we have 25 meters per second times the sine of 40 degrees. So our vertical piece is equal to 16.1 meters per second. So 16.1 meters per second. All right. Next up, it wants to know how long the ball is in the air. All right. Now, it may look like that there's not much we can do here. All right. But we got to remember what's actually happening. All right. So let's draw a little picture. Whoops. Let's not use our highlighter, however. All right. So Robbie throws the ball up and Ben catches it over here. All right, all we know is the vertical and horizontal components of the initial throw. All right, we know that this angle is 40 degrees and the resultant is 25 meters per second. All right, we do know that at maximum height, all right, which is our change in position vertically, we know that at this point that the velocity vertically is 0. So that's going to be what we're going to be looking for. If we want to figure out the time the ball's in the air, we can figure out half of that time, right, if we use that velocity value of 0. So we're going to assume we're at max height. So at maximum height, that final velocity value equals 0. All right, so then I can use my acceleration formula where it's v final minus v initial divided by acceleration equals time. All right, we're going to plug in 0, and then we have minus 16.1 meters per second divided by negative 10 meters per second squared. So this time is going to be equal to 1.61 seconds. But this is at max height. All right, so if I want to figure out time total, then I need to multiply that value by 2. I need to double it. So the total time in the air is 3.22 seconds. All right, it's good to know both of those times when we work this problem. So I'm going to put the 3.22 kind of under the x column and the 1.61 kind of under the y problem, but the times are at different points in the motion. I don't want you to think that they're separate for each component. It's just 2 different spots in the motion. All right, so now we're going to calculate how high into the air did the ball go. So this is calculating the change in vertical position. All right, so if we look at what we know, at maximum height, we know that the final velocity will be 0. We know the initial velocity. We know the time it's going to take to get there. And we have everything we need. I'm going to use my average velocity is equal to the change in position divided by time. All right, so that means that my change in position is going to equal to be the average velocity, which is 0 plus 16.1 meters per second divided by 2 times the time of 1.61 seconds. Now, it's important here that you use the 1.61 and not the 3.22. The 3.22, the ball's already come back down, so you're not at maximum height anymore. All right, so we throw that into our calculator, and we find that the ball vertically reaches a height of 13 meters. So that's going to be our maximum height. All right. And then last, how far did the ball travel before Ben caught it? So this, we're looking for the change in position horizontally All right, and this is the entire motion, the whole thing from here to here is our change in horizontal position, which means we need to use the total time that the ball is in the air. All right, so we know that our velocity is equal to the change in position divided by time, which means that our change in position is equal to our velocity value times time. All right, so we plug in our velocity value of 19.2 meters per second, and then we use our time of 3.22 seconds here. All right, and this really is the trickiest part of these problems, is keeping track of whether you're horizontal or vertical, and then whether you're at halfway through the motion or all the way at the end. All right, here we find that the ball is going to travel 61.8 meters. Okay. All right, so again, these are projectile motion problems, but these deal with projectiles being launched at an angle. So they're a little bit different, but it's free fall in terms of vertical motion and constant in terms of horizontal. So we just use our understanding from our earlier work to solve these problems.